we can't not talk about this particular strange phase of humanity where, in terms of energy flow, you can see it now if you go to a restaurant or somewhere outdoor cafe type. At least here in Brazil, at least half of the tables will have people with the cell phones. And
yes.
If you think of it from an energy flow standpoint, what's happening is you've literally caused a disconnect. And somehow it's come in that it seems to be that somehow it's come in that it's okay, at least here in Brazil. There doesn't seem to be a moral question of whether a person, you can see a large family together and 3 or 4 people are on their phones. But what's happening, of course, is the person's faculties, their mind, their brain has gone to what's on the phone.
Yes.
So therefore, you're not plugged into, it's kind of obvious, but it does need to be said as well, into what's going on around you. The thing is, we think we can do both, but we do have a leading line of concentration and focus. So once you start looking there, then the influence of whatever's on that phone can also arc through, because we connect to what we think about and what we see. And so now you've got another influence into the dynamic.
Yes.
So let's say if you and I were talking, and at the same time I'm checking out some disaster that's going on in some place in the world, and it arcs across to me, now you're picking up that influence, and it's nothing to do with what you and I were focusing on. So, I think we're slipping away from the art of good conversation, because good conversation shouldn't be just exchanging words and opinions. It should be to do with energy flow.
Yes.
And with the idea that, what have you picked up? What have you thought about? What have you felt? Because we kind of like those ice cream scoops. We go into the day and we scoop up stuff. And so when we talk, we can be exchanging connections, bits of essence, perceptions, ideas that together make up a kind of tapestry that one person alone wouldn't have. But as people turn their minds to more and more unpleasant things by the thrust of media, because they know that shock and horror and disaster sell, so it catch attention. So people are getting their ice cream scoop is getting scooped full of this, and people intuitively don't want to hear it from other people unless you're in a little bit of a misery zone together. It's not really that appealing, so people are diverting to the phone as well, because they're not wanting to catch this energy off the other person. So it's a bit of a compounding situation.
Yeah.
So you really got to make I think the message is you've got to make a little bit more effort, or even think of doubling the effort to create quality exchanges. It's not just going to happen automatically. It might have happened automatically in the time in the distant past when people, I know a guy here, for example, in Brazil, when he was a young boy, lights went out at 10 o'clock in the town that he lived in. All the lights of the town went out because it was still in that developmental stage. But then they would sit on or maybe earlier, I think it was 9 o'clock because he was a young boy. They would sit on the steps, him and his father, grandmother, mother. There would be the stars. It was a country town. And they would tell stories. They would share stories, share thoughts, share feelings. And he still holds that as one of the richest times in his life because of this flow, this tribal feeling amongst the family. And just things that people took for granted back at that time. As TV appeared, as the lights came on, the stars disappeared, we lost something that we didn't realize that we had that was so precious.
Yeah. There's a profound saying, isn't there? Energy flows where attention goes. And because of the law of two, it's a two-way flow. So your energy goes to where your attention is focused, but something flows back the other way. And I think that's one of the most important and profound lessons and understanding in those Ruby Mountain trails is to do with, some people call it the Akashic records, we call it the astral light, but it's to do with the qualities of energy. So, you hear a lot about the Akashic records and the print of all human activities and emotions, and it's very, very rare, this idea of the different levels or qualities about the astral light come into it. And that feng shui example about when a house is being renovated and there's all those destructive energies, as you say, the mainstream sort of news, because it does sell, all of those terrible things that are happening, those are energies of destruction, those are energies of violence, those are energies of murder, all of that sort of stuff. But then there are energies of education and knowledge, and there's energies of improvement. There are energies of healing and regeneration. So that's the thing. Where do you actually put your mind or focus your mind to connect to energies, and what sort of quality of energy? That's the issue, because if you're connecting to destructive energies, it can only have a destructive effect. It's simple. If you're connecting to energies which are to do with improvement and education, then it can only cause improvement and education. Yeah. And this is the deeper thing from out of history that we seem to have lost so much to do with, is what energies do you connect to that actually cause the unlocking and development of the human? But this is all throughout history, that certain types of energies, certain types of energy flows can cause the activation of the rest of our brain, can cause dormant faculties like clairvoyance and ESP to switch on and become a permanent part of a person's life. Because these people have managed to do that. People want to be around them. People want to learn from them. They want to be taught by them. They feel uplifted. They feel enhanced, and they feel energized. It's a different kind of energy flow, and it's very possible, and it's very real, because those different levels and quality of energy exist within the planet's aura, within the astral light of that. It's got quite an incredible possibility. Yeah. And really the trails in one way or another are steps and knowledge. And we didn't make it up. This is knowledge to do with the laws and how the human system works. It's fundamental truths from the best of all of human history, gathered together and condensed to be an assistance for anyone who's interested in those sorts of things.